So City of God really benefits from the widescreen presentation. The editing, the cinematography, everything benefits from being in a theater and seeing and being engrossed in that environment where it's completely dark and there are no distractions. The film itself is one of my favorite in the true crime genre. It documents the rise of crime in a favela or a slum out in the suburbs of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil through the 60s and 70s. And it's similar to other films that sort of document poverty and the way crime that can infect an area where poverty exists. Like there's a film called Salon Bombay. It's an Indian film, or even it's not quite like a film like a Scarface, and that it doesn't do as much, I think, to sort of glorify the crime and the life, but it's like a realistic portrayal. So this film actually has two directors, and one of them, Kátia Lund, was a documentary filmmaker who had made films in and around the favelas. She made a film called Notes from a Personal War, where she worked with a lot of people who were in the favelas, and so when they made the film City of God, she was able to work with them on the acting, while her co-director handled the technical things. And so she was able to coax out of them performances that were really true to life. Only one of the actors really had any experience, but I think it's interesting that two of the actors went on to have careers afterwards. One was Sue George, who was also in the Wes Anderson film The Life Aquatic, who plays Knockout Ned, and the other is Anna Braga, who was in I Am Legend with Will Smith and also David Mamet's Red Belt. Yeah, I think so, especially because it doesn't just sort of document the crime, but it sort of documents the cyclical nature of it and the way from one generation to the next, the crime becomes more brutal and savage. At the beginning of the film, when you see the hoodlums, their primary motivation is that they're in poverty and they're trying to get out. But then there becomes this sort of quest for power for the next generation, and then you also see the successive generations get younger and younger as they're committing these acts of violence. And it also documents the way that sort of, as things go on, people sort of lose the rationale for why this is even happening.